Hi, we're back again with the Corporate Life show, talk show on social media and YouTube, of course. Welcome, welcome. Hope your day is coming well. Hope your week went well. Well, today's Thursday. We have one more day to go for the week, but it's been a good week for us so far. Getting productive the whole year, the whole month so far in 2022. I gotta find some way of opening this show that it's with a bang, you know. But then again, notifications are going out and people are coming on slowly, but we're not getting the viewership that we're looking for. Of course, an hour-long show that delves into deep, boring stuff. Nobody has time to sit and watch those things, but we're doing our thing, right? We're continuing to produce our content, and so producing content with the idea of branding Qualped, so that when we're ready for the stock market and when we're ready to get our coin is already, crypto coin is already there, Cupid. When we're really ready to market that and put it out there, we're hoping for $1 at least for the price of it. The branding would be there, right? That's why we develop all this content. Today I want to really get into something that we dealt with before, but I think it's necessary for us to keep talking about these things, because this is our purpose, right? Our purpose is not only to brand Qualped, but also to bring enlightenment and awareness based on our own research. Today I was doing a lot of work around VR, AR, augmented reality glasses, because that's the next big thing that is coming, right? Facebook is working on their augmented reality glasses, and Apple is bringing out theirs this year, which would be a phenomenal thing. The Apple augmented reality glasses coming out later on this year would be as big a game changer as was iPhone when it first came out. When Steve Jobs launched the iPhone, and it changed the whole, not only the smartphone market, but the whole way we communicate as human beings. Globally, there was no niche market. Every human being, whether you own an iPhone or not, I'm not an Apple person, but it changed the market. It changed human beings. It changed our very nature. This rollout of the iPhone and iMac and all those things. And of course, before the iPhone, you had the what do you call that thing that was music? I can't remember. The rollout of the Apple AR glasses this year will be such a game changer. We had earlier this year, Zuckerberg released, so Facebook released, this is about 3-4 months ago. Facebook did a deal with Ray-Ban, the sunglasses maker, right? You know, Ray-Ban, they're very expensive sunglasses, luxury brand sunglasses. And so Facebook did a deal with Ray-Ban, and they brought out an augmented reality glasses. Of course, it's in the kind of development stage, right? Facebook is jumping into this space. They've been doing it. Zuckerberg said for 7 years now they've been in the research, and they brought out the glasses today because the metaverse is going to be all about augmented reality glasses, and it's a space we're very, very excited about here at Qualped. We're very, very absorbed in it. We spend our day researching these things, because just like when back in the day, in fact back in the day when Qualped started, when I launched the whole idea and vision for Qualped, ebook machine, the devices, so Kindle and Kobo here in Canada was just starting up, and you had a whole bunch of other, just like with AR glasses now, you had a whole bunch of ebooks starting up, and it was an exciting space. Everybody was thinking books would go digital, and we would have these machines, not machines, but digital devices, screens that people could read on. Of course, the only one that really took off and still exists is Kindle. And Kindle is not such a big deal. It's not like a game changer like Netflix. Netflix was a real big thing for movies, but Kindle didn't take off like that with the mainstream population. Of course, readers and book people, they'll have their Kindle. I have Kindle too. And of course, Kobo in Canada never took off. And then this Japanese company bought Kobo, and now, I think they still sell it at Chapters bookstore, but I'm not sure. So that's how much it has a niche market, but that's it. The same, so what happened with ebooks and ebooks machine back in the day, and even Qualped started, that's how we started. We wanted to launch our own ebook machine, and there was our design was, I wouldn't get into details how this happened, but our design was reproduced by a company with a book called Entourage Edge, which was an ebook. Exactly how we designed it. It was folding. One side was multimedia, and the other side was you could read text on. And they got hold of that technology. I'm not going to get into details how that happened, but it had something to do with somebody who was involved in my company back then. But that didn't go anywhere. None of the ebook machines went anywhere. And we were getting into the space, and we decided, you know what, hardware is not the thing of the future. What is of the future is developing this new experience of reading. So we had to change the experience of how people read, not just change how it's being distributed, which is what ebook machines were doing. Kindle and Kobo, that's what it does, right? They just change the means of distribution from printing to digital on screen. And we find that didn't work too much. And so we went out of that space and started researching with some professors and stuff from universities about books and the psychology of reading and all those things. And we came up with this idea of Sims Book. And Sims Book, Simple Multimedia Smart Book, is now our main driver, the main thing in our company. So the same thing that happened back then when ebook machines were starting up is now happening again, but with AR glasses, augmented reality glasses. This time, however, back then when the ebook machine was starting up, Google, Bezos at Amazon, and some other companies, Apple for example, with iBooks, they were in the space. They were researching, they were pumping a lot of money into the space. Google had this project they called the Gutenberg project, which they took on from Michael Hart, who invented the ebook, but they didn't go anywhere. The whole ebook thing, nobody was asking the right question in their research, which was what is the psychology of reading. They did ask that, but they didn't focus on it, right? How could we change how people read? The same way Netflix said, how can we change how people not only access movies, but they watch movies? So when Netflix could answer that question, they put Blockbuster out of business, and they became the movie thing of the world, right? The movie platform of the world. And it's the same with disruptive technology everywhere. You got to ask the right research question. Our research question was, how could we make reading smart and intelligent, like books are supposed to be? And that was a fundamental question. And I think out of it, we were able to develop Sims Books. When we roll out Sims Books, you're going to see what it is. It's really exciting. It's fantastic. If we do this right, and we get a good management team in place, and we do branding the way it should be done, because I'm not capable of this. I'm a founder. I'm not a manager or a big-time leader. I'm not a people person. Everybody who knows me would tell you I'm not a people person. So we need a good team in place to really, grow the thing and mature it into a global platform, Sims Books. But it will happen. I'm sure it will happen. I think we're on the right track. I think I got some good shareholders on board, and we are doing well, right? We really haven't had a board meeting recently, but we should have a board meeting, change some of the directors and stuff. But anyway, that's company internal stuff. The point I'm making here is that we're in a space right now, and I know, if you're a friend of mine on Facebook, or even maybe the people who might be really interested in this talk show would be people on LinkedIn. So I need to start sharing this video on LinkedIn, which I haven't been doing. LinkedIn doesn't encourage live videos, right? They started it and it failed and they didn't do it. But people who are watching this show, I know my friends on Instagram and Facebook and all those places, social media on the whole, even YouTube maybe, unless we do marketing on YouTube and start hashtag the right kind of crowd that we need. Not a lot of people will be interested in these things that I'm talking about, because we live in a different world. We live in a little bubble. A little bubble. I wake up in the morning and I come to the office and just get into this world of the future, of what is coming in the future. That's where we live. We live way into the future. And the future that we live in now is, of course, 2 to 5 years ahead. So today I was watching all these videos of Zuckerberg and all these guys, Elon Musk and all of them, who were talking about the metaverse and AR glasses and all those things. And it's very, very exciting. My most exciting anticipation is for AR glasses, augmented reality glasses, that you can see through. They're normal, regular glasses, but of course packed with technology, where they these glasses produce holograms. So you don't really have a screen anymore. You have, if you're watching a movie, for example, all the characters are there in front of you, like on a stage play, and you're in the theater watching this thing. Hologram, so glasses, which is very, very exciting, and I think Zuckerberg is really focused on this thing, and I think so. He just came out with this new glasses that he did a deal with Ray-Ban company for, and they released it a few months back. But it's quite cheap. It's like $200 or $300, but it's not as packed with technology as as they promised, right? So it is. You can listen to music on it, of course. You can take pictures. You can take a short video and all those things. But it's not the best. But of course, you have competing products that are better than that. Like Microsoft has HoloLens 2, which is quite a beautiful product, right? I mean, that's for enterprises, for businesses and stuff. So individual people might not get it. It's quite expensive too. But HoloLens 2 from Microsoft is quite good. Now you have a whole bunch of them in the space, right? But the AR industry, just like ebooks were developing back in the day, ebook machine like Kindle, today AR glasses are developing, and all the companies are competing, and they're trying to win the market to see who's going to come first and who's going to be best and who's going to have the most, what is called wearable technology. So you take the technology, put it on, and you don't even need a screen because it's hologram, right? People, like if I'm talking to you and you would not watch me on a screen or on your phone, you would put your glasses on and I appear in front of you. But of course it's light, right? I don't get into the technology. It's hologram. It's a play of light and 3D lighting and all those things. But they're doing the technology right now. There's a company in England, what's it called, Vivid Q or something like that, that is really developing the technology. The same as there's a company in California called E-Ink that is developing smart tiles and smart computing and screens for walls and that kind of thing. So these companies are developing tremendously futuristic technologies, and of course a lot of them, they patent the thing, right? Which is, they don't make it open source, and that's the thing with hardware, different from software. Software, a lot of people are making open source stuff, so it develops very, very fast. We don't find that happening with hardware, but hopefully the patent will be over soon and we could see these things roll out, and Samsung and all those companies can use the design or the technology and mass produce these things. So these are exciting times. These are very, very exciting times, and I want to really emphasize that. Let me see. Sorry, but I need to check and make sure. Okay, good. Our stuff is going well with the technology, right? So it's very, very exciting. That's why we live in the future and we talk about the future and we're all about the future. Remember, this is the Qualped Life Show, and what we're about is altering our future, the kind of future that we create and invent and live into. And today's show is going to go in a different direction, a whole different tangent based on this morning. Because what I do is in the morning I would catch up on my reading and do some writing and stuff, and then based on the content that I develop for myself, right? I educate myself every day, become more enlightened every day. Before I leave my house, I don't leave unless I get an epiphany and enlightenment something, and that's weird, right? And then I come to the office and I try to put that into practice where we implement it in the business. And so today I had a whole different topic to talk about, which maybe we'll touch on because it's an exciting thing too. But this technology that is coming, because we want people to really grasp what is coming, prepare for it. You remember, life is our preparation, right? And so look into that space of augmented reality glasses. The reason I'm talking about it too is because nobody else mainstream is talking about it. But if you go, excuse me, and follow the guys who are really into the cutting edge of technology, including Gary Vaynerchuk and Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and all these guys, even the culture people, the people of culture, like what's the short guy's name? I forget. Kevin Hart, Kevin Hart, and Will Smith and Snoop Dogg and all these people. They're all in this space, and it's now on late night. I don't watch television, but I hear that you see videos everywhere that even late night talk show hosts, they're talking about these things. It's becoming viral. It's slowly moving from the fringe into mainstream society. And so we at this show, we want to make that difference for whoever is listening to us, or if you're not listening to us, our video is always available on YouTube and Facebook, so people can always watch it, right? We want to be in that space of futuristic. We're futurist and we have a futuristic thinking about the world and where it's going. And it's really exciting to me, and I want to pass on that excitement to you, that where we're going, where this world is going. Imagine, I firmly believe that within 2 years, by the end of 2023, when we will have our annual Qualped conference in Toronto, the end of 2023 in November. And at that conference, I'm going to say to you now that nobody is going to be using their smartphone. They'll have their glasses on. And they could go into the metaverse with their glasses. That's how exciting the times are. I mean, COVID paved the way for a lot of changes to happen. And as you know, who've been following us on the videos, on the talk show, we've talked a lot about why COVID happened, which is Sustainable Development Goals, Great Reset, and of course, clean climate. Now, whether COVID continues or it ends, and it seems to be easing up around the world, they're having different strategies because they need when I say they, I won't say who are they, but find out. Go do your research. What they are doing is implementing a new world system, what Prince Charles titled the Great Reset, which the World Economic Forum is implementing, right? These things we talked about before. And so they're gonna all kinds of stuff are gonna happen this year in 2022 to make those things happen, to change the laws, and the Bible talks about it as the seasons, the times, and the laws will be changed. And that's going on. But we need not panic, even in COVID or whatever is coming. We don't need to panic, because why? We live in the future, and we know that whatever is going on in the world, it's a preparation for a future that is futuristic, a future that is brand new. When they talk about a new world order or the new age, the age of knowledge, that's what's coming. So I just want to say how excited I am that technology is moving in this direction, and one day we would see all these screens and everything that we have, even cameras and smartphone and all that, we would see them move into this space of wearable computers, wearable computing. Of course, the next step after that is, you know what it is, Neuralink from Elon Musk's company, embedded in the body, right? Merged with the actual skull, the skeleton of every human being. First, they're going to say voluntary, and then eventually they could say, like the vaccines, it's mandatory. So computing is moving from external to us to internal to, from external to us to wearable, where we can put our glasses on and our clothing would have. Now you can go online, there are places you can go and order clothing that are connected to technology, right? They have sensors in them, and they have temperature control and all those. You could actually order those clothes, and this is the thing that gets me, people say I live in a kind of a bubble because I say these things, and people say, oh, but reality is we gotta wake up and hit the road and drive and pay our bills. Yes, I gotta do that too. I'm not like Superman, or I'm not like a god or something. I have to live too and exist and pay bills and everything. But trust me, I'm not living in a bubble. I'm just plugged into the future. And a lot of people are plugged into the future. So when we talk about these things, we're not talking fantasy. We're talking reality. And if you know what is coming in reality, then you would benefit from it. You would ride that horse. You would jump on the wave and surf the wave of what is coming in the very near future, and scale up to the summit of your mountain. Phrases I like. I say these things over and over. But don't think that I'm talking fantasy, or I'm talking things that are 10, 15 years away, and today we need to focus on different things. A friend of mine actually said that to me, that why are we focusing on these things? They're 50 years away. This is an old guy who's like 60 years old. Says, why are we focusing on these things? My lifetime, he's 60, and my friend, and he said, we won't even live to see those things. Well, I said, you're gonna live to see it. Trust me, it's within 2 to 5 years, this is the world we're living in. A very, very exciting world. A world of amazing technology. Okay, so having said all that, I want to delve into something that I was supposed to really do the show today on this idea and this topic, but I got excited about it. I'm excited every day about it because imagine you're reading your Sims book or producing your Sims book, and you have people have their glasses, and you know the book is like it's a hologram. It shows up in front of them and they could read it. It's so exciting. It's really exciting. I love that world, and there's a world we want to create. I'm even thinking, let me put it out there, of us doing a quad-bed glasses AR. I'm going to look into it. I'm not sure if I'll do that because hardware is not our thing. But it's exciting to do that if we can get our own AR glasses and brand it, right? The quad-bed. So, exciting things are on the horizon, near horizon. Now, here is why the world is... So, one thing that is going on, if you listen to people like Zuckerberg from Facebook, the biggest thing that is going on in the world, and this is where quad-bed fits in, the biggest thing that is going on in the world is technology, of course. We're moving into the age of technology, right? From the age of industrialism, from concrete and steel and you know, gasoline cars and all those things, into the age of technology. So Elon Musk kind of thinking, and of course digital wearable technology instead of technology external to us, and you know, even embedded in our clothing, in our house, in our furniture, Internet of Things, right? So wearable technology and Internet of Things, that's the future. And wearable technology would get rid of screens. We don't need screens because holograms going to appear in front of us, which is, that technology is actually so exciting, but also it makes AR glasses cheaper and more convenient. So actual glasses like this, you don't have a big cumbersome thing like you know, the gaming consoles that they had, which my son has about 3 or 4 of them. You gotta put it on and strap it on and all those things. Now you put your glasses on and you're ready to go, right? Like the Ray-Ban glasses that Facebook has out now. I'm really looking forward to Apple's glasses and see what that looks like. Although you're going to still need your phone because it's going to work through apps. So the technology won't be rolled out fully this year, but by next year end, towards the end of 2023, you're going to see AR glasses with holograms all over the place. It's going to be the in thing. Just like Apple iPhone was at one point, and of course Android when it came out and all that. We forget these things, right? We forget these things that one time Android came out, when Google launched Android, which is the software for phones that are not Apple, right? And when Android came out, people were so excited. Well, the ones who were in technology, the average Joe on the street had no clue what Android was or how they could benefit from it or anything. Even now, a lot of people don't realize what Android is. It's a mobile operating system that Google brought out, you know, what, maybe 10, not even 10 years ago, less than 10 years ago, that Google brought out Android. And it became, now everybody has Android, except Apple people, of course, who have their own operating system. And nobody thinks about it, right? It becomes like your context. You don't see it. It's there, like a fish in water doesn't know it's in. Well, we can't say it doesn't know, but the fish in water thinks that's everything in the world is about water. It doesn't know its context, right? So the same thing with us, our worldview. We don't see that. It's our context is always hidden. But I won't get into that. The future is moving into technology, but a certain type of technology, and this is a crucial point. The technology that we're moving into is communications technology. So technology is focusing on one main area. We have robots making cars and trucks and all those things, but the main aspect of technology that would impact the average person on the earth from this year going forward is communications technology. It's communications technology. Because the human being, I don't want to get into all the deep stuff, right? The research that we do and get people bored by this. But I think people need to know these things. If we know these things, we can make better decisions about our lives, about how we build assets, how we prepare for the future. But it's boring stuff, right? So, I mean, it's all available online, but nobody goes to check it out. So, if I talk about it the same way, people might not watch the videos. This talk show. But let me say this. Bear with me. Communication technology is what the future is about. And what communications technology plays into a basic human psychology, which is this. And we talked about it several times before. Okay, let me say something else then. Let me bring that point in with a different way. There are three guys. If you really want to know, well, do you need to know? I guess not, unless you want to be one of the elites. Unless you want to really build up some power and get in on the ground floor and become one of the, like when first phase of web, what they call web 1 or 1.0, happened in the late 90s, or when the second phase of the web happened in the late 2010s, 2008 to 2012 or something like that. When that second phase of the internet happened, a lot of people got rich, right? The rich people in the world today, that's how they got rich. In the first phase was Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and all those guys, and the second phase was Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey at Twitter and LinkedIn and all those people. This is the third phase of the web, and if you're interested in this kind of thing, you're going to be in that crowd that benefits, which is a crowd. A whole bunch of people will be millionaires in this new third phase of the web. Because why? It's being open more and more to ordinary people, and ordinary people now kind of understand technology. A lot of young people, like the teenagers, who are playing Minecraft and Fortnite and Roblox and all these games, they're well plugged into that new world that is coming. However, the older people, and I wish teenagers would watch this show. I wish young people would watch this show, because the older people, they are completely not interested in this kind of thing. They're thinking life just happens, or whatever happens, we're going to go with it. Like when Android came out. Whatever Google is doing, we're going to just go with it. Once we can use it, we're fine. They don't look into how it could maximize their life and their potential. Young people do that. Young people who are caught up in Roblox and like my son, right? And if you have teenagers, Roblox and Minecraft and Fortnite and all these games that are going on. There's a game, what is it called? Axie or something like that. I think Axie, that is very, very popular in the Philippines and in Africa. And that's actually a big player now in the metaverse. And a lot of people in Africa. So here's the thing. Here's how groundbreaking this thing is. That the average people don't know what's going on, because they say, oh, we live in reality. That reality is now a bubble. It's not reality anymore. And people say, I live in a bubble. No, this is what is going on. Let's take Africa. A lot of people in Africa, let's say Ghana, there's a lot of people in Ghana who are playing, young people, who are playing this game called Axie. I think AXIE, I think the game is, if I'm right. And it's like Minecraft, right? It's a immersive game. And they sell, on that game, they sell land. People buy land, which is virtual land. They buy merchandise, they do different things. So in Africa, in Ghana, let's say Ghana, the daily pay is like $2 a day. The pay, or a month or a week or whatever, the pay is very, very low for workers. But the people who play that game, they earn $300-400 a month. They earn far more money than the average worker in Ghana. And so their lifestyle is different. They live differently. They play differently. They're in a different world. And that's the world we're moving into. And a lot of people who are on Roblox, I have a friend who is a developer at Roblox, David from Sweden. And he lives in Toronto now. Well, he lives in my city. I need to meet up with him again. We used to meet a lot and chat, and this guy grew up with Roblox, and now he has a full-time job with Roblox, and he's one of the biggest developers, and he's driving a nice car, living in a nice place, and at 21 years old, the guy is well set in life. And so this is a new world opening up, and the reason it's opening up, the reason all these things are happening, is because basic human psychology is that every human being, we need to communicate. We need to communicate. We can't live isolated. And this is what the metaverse is all about. That we build a platform where we mediate who we are, right? So I'm going to mention three guys here, which we talked about before. Marshall McLuhan, who brought about this whole idea of the mediated human being. I want to really drive home that idea. If I could write a book and do a movie, a documentary on this idea of the mediated human being, we mediate ourselves, which means mediated, of course, comes from the word media. And the word means many things. You could mediate, of course, you have mediators who cause peace between conflicting parties. You have mediator. The Bible says Jesus is the mediator between man and God. The mediator is the one that stands in between and enhances an experience or makes an experience better. We mediate ourselves, and we have always done that. It's a basic psychology of human beings. And the guy who brought this out was Marshall McLuhan. Marshall McLuhan, who wrote about media. He was a professor at the University of Toronto back in the 80s, 70s. He's dead now, unfortunately. He was a brilliant guy, but he wrote a lot of books about this whole idea that man is a mediated being, a mediated person, and we'll get into that idea. The second person that I love the idea, and these things I read them years ago, but I have the books on my bookshelf at home. But those ideas are now being implemented in society. Like more and more, we are getting into a global village, which Marshall McLuhan even coined the phrase global village. And we see in that global village, the way we operate, the way the human being operates is we're mediated. And this is not because I'm a media person. Like I came out of a journalism background, we have a media company. I'm a writer, a publisher. Not because I'm a media person. Even if I was not a media person, I would say this, that we are mediated beings. And the idea is not mine, it came from Marshall McLuhan, but I've lived to see the truth of it. And today, because of technology, focusing on communications, how we communicate with our world, how we communicate with our society, how we communicate with our environment around us, it's all based on the fact that we need to mediate our existence. We need to augment our existence through media, and we'll get into that. The second person was also a colleague of Marshall McLuhan at the University of Toronto, and his name is Northrop Frye. Northrop Frye wrote a lot of books, like Educated Imagination is one you should read, which is a lecture that he gave at Massey lecture that was published in a book, and it's called Educated Imagination. Fantastic lecture that is now in a book. That really opened my eyes to a lot of things. Work for an educated imagination, which is what I do every day. The second book, but the two books I want to talk about him that he put out, Northrop Frye, are two books called Words with Power and The Great Code. Words with Power and The Great Code. And these two books, when you grasp those ideas in those books and you correlate them with Marshall McLuhan's idea, which says we are mediated beings, it's enormous, it's tremendous. But I'm going to get into it before we wrap up tonight and clarify my thoughts, what I mean when I bring up all these things. And the third guy I want to focus on is Harold Bloom. Harold Bloom was the greatest reader in the world. Like, he was a literary critic, and of course, because I'm in literature, I used to read a lot of his books. I have books of his at home, but he wrote one particular book called Genius, actually, which studied the 100 most, what he selected as the 100 most original thinkers in humanity. And it's not only literature people, he had Beethoven and Mozart and all those guys, but also authors like Tolstoy, James Joyce, and the Bible, of course, he dealt with. But he came up with an idea. Out of this book came an idea of originality. How do we create something that is original from us, right? But how do we, which people don't do. So if you read a fourth guy, I don't know, all book people should watch this show, eh? There's a fourth guy called René Girard, who's a Frenchman, a French intellectual. He just died a couple years ago. René Girard talked about a very important point as well, which is this, that every human being imitates another. All our desires and everything, we imitate. Nothing. We believe we come up with our own thoughts and our own desires and our own emotions. No, 99% of us, of humanity, we just imitate. We imitate our culture, our parents, our society, our friends, our peers. We go to university. University is all about teaching you the same thing they taught students for the past, those big Ivy League universities existing for 100 years. The same thing they taught back then, they teach today. So students are going in and coming out and replacing managers that knew the same thing that they know. So we're all imitators. We just go around life imitating. Harold Bloom said, there are few of us, like the great musicians and the great literature people and the great architects and the great engineers, who, like Tesla, for example, Nikola Tesla, and even what's the guy's name? EM square guy, whatever his name is, I forget. I'm losing it. The physics guy. All of them, even Stephen Hawking and all of them, right? But I'm not talking about Stephen Hawking. What's Einstein? How could I forget Einstein's name? They're originators. They originated original idea. The guy who invented electricity, the guy who invented railways, the people, people who invent new things, who originate new ideas. They're originators. They're called originators. They're the creators and the inventors of civilization, of everything in society. 99% of humanity are living imitating others, each other. 1% of the humanity are originators, these geniuses who show up every now and again and come up with a brilliant original idea. Bill Gates is one who invented the personal computer. I know people say Steve Jobs did it. No, Bill Gates did it and Steve Jobs followed after. It wasn't him. There are people who invent and create and originate stuff. And those are our real thinkers, our thought leaders. And so we have most of humanity imitating, a few as originators, and then the people who originate put their ideas out into the world, right? And we, the rest of humanity, starts imitating them. And electricity, everybody has electricity. You travel any country in the world today, they have the same highway system. They have the same car system. We live in Canada, we're in Toronto alone, in Ontario, you have over 200 nations present as immigrants in this country, speaking different languages from different countries. And I meet people, over the years I've been here, lived in Canada 26 years, and I've met people from all over the world, different people, different language and everything. And being a writer, after a while you realize that people are not as different as we think they are. Humans have some basic things that are very, very common to being human. You could come from Afghanistan and from Jamaica, and you could still find some common human bonds that are happening. Not only bonds, but you could hear some stories from the Afghanistan person. You could hear some stories from the American person. You could hear some stories from people from England, or from Jamaica, or from Trinidad, or wherever you're from, Sri Lanka, wherever. And in those stories, you would find, oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Because human commonality. Everywhere in the world, human beings have some things in common. We keep imitating each other. The whole human civilization that we live in is an imitative culture. These are important ideas that inform what we do here at Quadbet, which is train people how to be authors of their future, how to be originators, how do you invent and create the life that you want, how do you design the life that you want, how do you be an originator. One way is to realize that we're moving into the world of communications technology, and that world of communication technology is a mediated world. So we have a technology company, of course, a part of what we do is technology, which is Sims Book, that we invented this future of the book. And also we have a media branch, which is this live streaming operation in the studio that we're actually working on it to expand into a full-fledged mass media operation. So we have a media and a technology department. The media department is very, very crucial to the world that is coming out, that is unfolding as we talk right now. And so I delve into it and I study it a lot, including my shareholders. They all, like the guys who are close to me, we all do it. And so the idea that we're mediated beings is the crucial idea that we must understand if we're to take advantage of Web 3.0, or the third phase of the web. Because Web 3.0 is going to open a lot of abundance and wealth. When I say wealth, I mean power. I don't mean necessarily money, because money is going to mean nothing. When I say mean nothing, it's going to have value, just like your house has value or your clothing has value. It's just a possession, right? It won't have the emotional value that it had in the past 100 years over the industrial age, because we're going to be technology people. We're going to be all about technology, NFT and cryptocurrency and metaverse and experience in the metaverse. But the basic idea under all of that is that we mediate who we are to the global village, to the world. So when I say, let me, we're wrapping up soon, but what do I want to leave with us is, when I say we're mediated beings, what do I mean? What do I mean? So man has always been, we dealt with this in the show before, but I will keep elaborating on this thing until we grasp the idea, because the people who go through our courses, that's what they learn. And that's what they will continue to learn. That you have to mediate who you are. So what I'm talking about today is kind of, I don't like this phrase, so I don't use it a lot. I wanted to open the show with the phrase, here's your secret to success. But then I thought, no, I don't want to preach on success. A lot of people do that. What is the secret to success? And they come up with 10 different things or 5 different things and steps to success. I don't want to do that. But really and truly, the secret of fulfilling life, to a fruitful life, is to understand that we mediate who we are to our environment. We don't walk out into our environment naked and nude and exposed and say, I don't care if my hair is all over the place. My hair needs a trim, by the way. I need a haircut, it's getting too long. But anyway, man has always been, since back in the cave days, whether we lived in caves or not, I don't know. But according to the sociologists and the anthropologists, we once lived in caves, our foreparents. So even if back then, if we did live in caves, at some point, man realized that to deal effectively with his environment, with his society, even with people in our lives, even with family and friends and peers around us, to demand respect, to command leadership, to have confidence and self-esteem. These things are not physical things, right? To enhance our lifestyle, to be able to grasp opportunities that are available out there, whether economic or social opportunities, to have a ranking in the social hierarchy of society. We have to mediate ourselves. And part of when I say the concept of being mediated is a very, very broad concept. I say it and people write me off because they say, oh, you're a media person, so of course you're going to say that. No. I mean it more than that, more than just media. I mean it in a very, very broad sense. For example, our very hairstyle is us mediating who we are. The clothing we wear, the fashion that we decide to wear. I was talking to a friend of mine a couple of days ago about after COVID is finished, about because I'm on the show and I'm going to be more public with books and all those things, about a fashion style that is unique to me, because I want my own style, right? And that's what we do. We mediate ourselves with our fashion, with our clothing. So if you want to, for example, so they call it image, right? If you want to project an image of professionalism, you're going to wear like a suit or nice clothing, or even semi-casual clothing, business casual they call it, right? Or if you want to have a sporty look, then you would wear like, athletic clothing and all those things. However, the image that we want people to see us as, that's the clothing we wear. We're mediating who we are with our clothing, with our fashion. And the same thing we do with our posture, right? The people who self-develop and who look at image and stuff, they hone their posture. They work out. You don't show up looking, unhealthy and all those things. You groom yourself. All that is mediating yourself. Your tone of voice, the way you talk to people. You don't want to go to an interview and say to the person who's sitting there interviewing you for a job, you won't just be blasé and be anything. You would refine yourself and be confident and project this image. People who are going in for a job interview, people who are dating, they project a certain image. And of course most people can't upkeep the image. So once they get married or once they get the job, the image becomes, you see somebody else shows up, right? But a lot of people, we create an image, a persona. That is mediating who we are. And so the technology that is coming, this VR glasses or AR glasses, which would project images out of the cloud, so it's going to connect by Bluetooth to the cloud, and we're going to have holograms around us that we're talking to. It's this using the same idea, this basic idea that Marshall McLuhan talked about, that we are mediated creatures and we mediate our environment. So we're using technology to enhance how we are communicating, dealing with, and engaging and interacting with those in society and the environment around us. But the AR glasses don't stand alone. Because what we've done, and these, yes, I know it sounds abstract and it sounds far away, but it's not. That's why I'm talking about it. The AR glasses are existing. Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and everybody are working on these things to open up a brand new space for humanity. And that space is called, of course, virtual space. It's the internet. It's the world of digital. It's the digital world. The biggest thing in that digital world, very, very soon, in fact, it's starting already. You can go and buy land in that world right now. It's called the metaverse. What they are calling the metaverse. The metaverse is a brand new space. And so here's what. You know, right now it's something from Microsoft. Microsoft is leading the way in a lot of these things. People don't hear about it in the street, right? The average people don't hear about it. So we're average people, we're ordinary people. We're not the elites. So we gotta talk to average, ordinary people and hopefully get the message across, bridge that gap between the elites and what is going on up there and, you know, out here in the world. Microsoft has something called Microsoft Mesh. I'm sure some of you might have heard of it if you listened to the show, or maybe you never heard of it. But Microsoft Mesh is where people can work now and collaborate, and it's AR. It's a kind of AR thing. So you put on the glasses, which is HoloLens 2. So Microsoft has something called HoloLens 2. You buy those glasses, you put them on, and you're with your co-workers in the space, and it's like they are there and you're here, and you can go through graph. The screen comes up in the ear, and you can interact with whoever is there in the room. They all virtually join, virtually. So check out Microsoft Mesh and check out HoloLens 2 and see what's going on with that. People are actually meeting with this thing, and it's real. I can't describe it, so you gotta experience it. Go watch a video on YouTube. Check out Microsoft Mesh, MESH, and HoloLens 2, and you're gonna see what I'm talking about. That's the new world we're moving into. A world where we are in a different space, a virtual space. And how, here's the point I'm making tonight. How we mediate ourselves in that new space is going to determine our status in society. Our wealth. If we're poor or rich. And when I say poor or rich, I don't mean by money. I don't mean economics. I mean by ability to get things done. Because in the digital world, there are a lot of people who would be poor because they don't have technology. Not because they don't have money. They would have money, but they don't have technology. The future is not, you won't be poor if you don't have money. You would be poor if you don't have access to good technology. You know, back in the day, let me just segue here. I like to talk about the feudal age, where land was wealth. Back then, people didn't have money in the bank. They took whatever money they had and they buy land, physical land, of course. In fact, the people who left Europe in 1800s and came to North America and populated America from the 16th century, from when Columbus discovered the Americas. They all came for land. Even in the Caribbean, where indentured immigrants and slaves went from Africa and India and China, Portugal, they went to farm land that people in the British Empire, the elites like Sir Walter Raleigh, for example, would own land all over the place, and they would bring these laborers to work the land, rice fields and sugarcane fields. In North America, if you look at Western movies, these spaghetti movies, you would see that it was all about land. Everything back then was about land. And then after that, you have the industrial age, which everything was about money. Well, the new age, everything is about technology. And the big thing about technology is you have to be in that new space called the virtual space, digital space, which we already exist in. The image that you project on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on YouTube, wherever you are, if you don't project an image, you're losing out. You gotta develop content. You gotta put out content. Because you gotta mediate who you are to the society, the new world that is opening up. Don't say, oh, I don't need social media, then you're going to be left behind. Because that's the new space where everything is happening. Virtual space, not physical space anymore. Not only because of COVID, but it's going to continue like that. With all these millions of people leaving their jobs and going and they're making their living where? On TikTok and YouTube and virtual sites. People say, oh, millions of people are leaving their jobs in Canada and America and around the world. They call it, Ariana Huffington has a phrase for it, the great migration from jobs or something, she calls it something. She has her, check her out on LinkedIn. So where those people are not leaving their jobs, they're transferring jobs. They're going into their own work. So that's why a lot of people are making money on TikTok. A lot of people are making money on Instagram and on YouTube. They're quitting the old way of doing things and moving into the new way of doing things. Why? Because they're mediating who they are into the new space that we live. We need to grasp this. And they do it with content. You got to produce content. So tomorrow, we're going to wrap up now, but tomorrow we're going to talk about, I'm going to elaborate on both, well, we're going to elaborate on Northrop Frye's two books, Words with Power and The Great Code, because that is crucial. As much as Marshall McLuhan's idea that we need to mediate who we are into this global internet, which is the global village, to global society with the content that we put out. What is also important is Northrop Frye's idea of the Great Code and Words with Power, which I'll deal with tomorrow. And some other day, maybe, tomorrow's Friday, so next week maybe, hopefully, we can deal with René Girard's idea that we're imitators, that we always imitate. Because the reason, you remember the 1% thing? That once there was a movement globally called Occupy movement, and they were protesting against the 1% of society. Remember that? The reason there's a 99% and a 1% is because the 99%, all they do is imitate. The 1% create new things. They originate. This is a key idea. You want to be part of the 1%. So our talk show is geared towards people who want to be originators, who want to be part of the 1%. Not necessarily in money, although money does come, obviously. It's natural, money will follow, economics will follow. If you have power, you live in abundance, right? And so we are creating our platform for people who want to be originators, who want to alter their future, who want to invent and create something new on the earth. It's a small demographic, but it's the best people to deal with. The visionaries and the originators. Not people who want to copy everybody and jump in. When COVID is over, they're in nightclubs and they're in this bar and all. No. We want people who are serious about life as much as you have fun, right? So tomorrow we're going to deal with Northrop Frye's idea of Words with Power and the Great Code. And that is very exciting, given the new world that is opening up. Okay, so today, I hope I ranted a bit and I'm all over the place. I don't write these things out, I just speak them. And so they come out a bit, all over the place. But if you keep listening to the show, you'll get the idea what I'm talking about. Because the basic idea that we talk about is very, very simple. Which is you're empowered in this digital age, as we move into the future, and you have the power, being empowered to alter your future using communications technology, to write the kind of life that you want into existence, to design your future, to design your life, right? That's our basic idea, but we don't want it to be a cliche thing. So we actually go into the deep research that we do, and we say, look, this thing is solid. This thing is coming from tremendous research, and it's solid. It's based on a solid foundation, based on knowledge and understanding, not just talking things, not just going on YouTube and being talking heads, right? We don't do that. And so today, I hope what I want to leave you in this video is, in this talk show, today's talk show, is the fact that we're mediated beings, and the whole world is moving into a place of the new virtual space of media. How do we present ourselves to the global village in that space? And of course, they're going to have avatars, you're going to have clothing, virtual things I'm talking about. You could put on whatever clothing you want. The disabled people, ugly people, whoever you are, when you appear in the virtual space, you could make yourself perfect. You could make yourself an expert. You You can make yourself look good. You can make yourself, if you don't know how to fight, you can fight with sword and boxing, and you can make yourself an athlete who could beat Usain Bolt. And that's the future that we are setting out. Where man is augmented. The world is an augmented place. We are stepping into a place where not only the physical world space, we would escape gravity and we could be whoever we want to be. That's the world that is coming, that is here right now. We could be whoever we want to be in that space and therefore accomplish whatever we want to accomplish. So I know these are heavy ideas, and you got to put the dots together for them to make sense, for it to make, some kind of semblance of sense. But keep watching the videos, watch our past videos, our future videos, and things will fall into place, right? I know now we have we have about 70 videos done already, talk shows. I wouldn't say videos, talk shows that are all on YouTube and Facebook and all over the place. And to grasp what we're talking about, you will need to, if you're new here, you will need to browse those other videos. And I'm happy because I've been meeting people this week, talking to people, and quite a few people who I didn't think were possible said that they were watching the videos, and it doesn't show up in our analytics, right? So I'm happy to see that we have viewers who I don't even consider would watch the show. So I think we're making an impact, which is the whole idea. It's good to feel that when you offer something of value, of substance, that there are people who appreciate it, and would absorb the information. Because you give and you want people to take it and make use of it. But anyway, that's today's show. It was kind of all over the place. Of course, we had the basic idea, which is you're a mediated human being, and a new space is opening up, and how you mediate yourself in that space is the secret to a fulfilling life, to a life that is fulfilling in the future. So don't discount the fact that you're a mediated human being, and watching this show, you learn how to be a mediated human being, how to take words and language, which is what we're going to do with tomorrow with Norton Fry's books, and mediate yourself in a new world that is approaching. All right, so take care. I hope I made some sense today, and I'll see you guys again soon. Take care tomorrow.